Patience has always been one of my strong suits. And in my line of work, patience can often be tested. So, in the interest of creating a more sustainable balance between work and life outside work, I do things that I enjoy and that I believe help to cultivate my patience. These things mostly fall into the cooking category, and one of my favorites in there is sourdough. Sourdough is kind of a perfect exercise in patience. If you're just starting out, it takes about 7 days to bring a good sourdough starter to maturity, and it can take another 60 hours to bring that starter to finished loaf. Sourdough, more like our dough. This is the sourdough starter the next morning, after about 10 hours. And this is the sourdough starter after 24 hours. I'm really glad that I put the top on loosely. Now I'm going to weigh out about 350 grams of filtered water. This flour is about 13% protein, which is quite a bit higher than I'm used to using. And you'll see when I start folding this dough that the hydration is probably not high enough. Just adding a little salt to the water first. Then I'll add 150 grams of sourdough starter that I pulled out of that disaster of a jar. After incorporating the salt, water, and starter, I'll add the flour. I have a friend whose parents just moved to Las Vegas, and this loaf of bread is going to be sort of a welcoming gift for them. Once everything's mixed together, I'll let it sit for about 20 minutes. This stage of the process is called the autolyse. Makes the dough a lot more stretchy. Now I'm going to do the classic slap and fold. And I'll do this until the dough forms into a smooth ball. Instead of putting it in a bowl, I'm going to leave it on the counter and put the bowl on it. Now it's on to some coil folds with the dough. This is where you can see that this 70% hydration dough is kind of stiff. A flour with protein content this high needs a hydration level of around 75%, maybe even 80%. And now it's into a tub so it can ferment overnight. I'm excited to see how much it fluffs up. Dang, that was quite a bit. I'm also really happy that we got an unexpected thunderstorm. I opened the back door just so I could listen to it. I'm just going to use a round banneton for this loaf. I'll just let the fermented dough fall out onto the counter. Then fold it up into a nice tight bowl. I'm going to leave it in this bowl on the counter to rise a little more while I'm at work. I won't be able to put it in the fridge myself, so I'll ask my wife to. And it's off to work. Here we are about 24 hours later, and we're going to preheat the oven to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. I like to put my combo pan in the oven while it preheats, so they can preheat together. And I'll pull the dough out of the fridge. You can see it's risen a little more. I'm going to pull the preheated combo pan out of the oven. And drop the loaf into it. After brushing a little of the excess flour off, I'm going to put a big score down the side of it. I lost my bread lom, so I'm just using a regular old razor blade here. Sometimes you gotta improvise. The lid goes back on to seal in the steam. And into the oven it goes. And after 20 minutes in that sauna, I'm going to take the lid off the combo pan. And then it's back into the oven for another 20 minutes to brown up the loaf. And as you can see when it comes out, it is beautiful. So many blisters. I love the blisters. And because this came out of the oven just about at the time that I needed to leave for work, it's straight into a bag with this super hot loaf. And it's off to work to deliver the package. My friend's parents really loved this bread, and I'm really glad that I could help welcome them to Las Vegas. They've lived almost an entire generation in Los Angeles, So making this move was a very big deal for them. So hopefully a small loaf of sourdough is enough to make this season of change a little easier for them.